10 signs she's not into you, old Stoic wisdom. True love is not about finding the perfect person, but about seeing an imperfect person perfectly. Sam Keen. Isn't it frustrating when you don't know if she's into you? At what point do you realize your pursuit just might really be a wild goose chase? That's why it's so important that you watch this video, because I'm going to give you 10 signs she's not into you. Far too often, men end up pouring endless energy into someone who doesn't reciprocate their feelings. It's frustrating, and it's easy to become caught up in trying to decode her every move, trying to convince yourself that there's something there. Perhaps you found yourself scrolling through old text messages, replaying moments in your mind, hoping for signs that confirm your desires. But sometimes the truth is simpler than we'd like to admit. She may just not feel the same. It's important to take a step back, recognize the reality of the situation, and, if necessary, let go. In the wise words of the Stoics, understanding what you can't control and what you can is the path to peace. In this case, you can't control how she feels, but you can control how you respond. Bowing out gracefully might be the most dignified choice. Stay tuned as we explore the signs to help you navigate this challenge with the calm wisdom of those who've come before us. Number 1, she doesn't reply to your messages. In the realm of relationships, one clear sign that a woman may not be interested in you is the simple yet telling act of not replying to your messages. Sure, life gets busy, and phones can sometimes be left behind, but in the age of constant connectivity, that excuse becomes increasingly less convincing. It's rare for someone to be without their phone for long periods, especially when it's practically an extension of our bodies. Think about it. How many times a day do you check your own phone? It's an integral part of how we navigate our world. When she leaves your messages on read or provides vague excuses like, "I've been busy," or "I didn't see it," it's clear she's not prioritizing you. You might tell yourself, she's just distracted, or she's caught up in life. But let's be honest. If someone values you, they'll make time, no matter how hectic their day is. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In relationships, the same idea applies. If someone truly cares, they will make the effort. If her responses are sparse and lack substance, take it as a sign to focus your energy elsewhere. Rather than wasting your time chasing someone who isn't reciprocating, accept the reality and move on. To love and be loved is to feel the sun from both sides. As the famous poet David Viscott put it, and this is where you deserve to be, in a relationship where mutual respect and communication flow freely. So don't let the cycle of waiting for responses become your routine. Recognize when someone isn't emotionally available and give yourself the gift of moving forward. Relationships are about mutual care, and that includes the effort both partners put in. When that effort isn't there, it's time to look within yourself and consider whether it's truly worth holding on to. Number 2, one-word answers. Let's face it, if a woman is really interested in you, you'll know it. She won't give you short, disinterested answers. She'll engage, she'll contribute, she'll want to be a part of the conversation. One-word answers? That's a silent alarm ringing in your head, but most men ignore it because they're clinging to hope, the same hope that blindfolds them to reality. It's simple, gentlemen. If she's only texting you with "fine," "okay," or "yeah," you're not in her thoughts. Women don't need to be persuaded to communicate. They want to share their lives, to open up. And when they don't, when your attempts to spark a conversation feel like pulling teeth, understand this: she's not into you. The great Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you waste your time trying to chase someone who isn't even willing to meet you halfway, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to pursue a woman who will value you. In today's world, where communication is often just a click away, you'd be shocked at how a person can use the simplest of texts to convey interest or disinterest. And here's the thing. It's a decision. She's not busy. She's not overwhelmed. The truth is, she's simply not making the effort. You deserve someone who will meet you with the same enthusiasm, with the same energy you're offering, not someone who makes you feel like you're doing all the work. Think about it. How long are you going to stand in the pouring rain, hoping she'll finally hand you an umbrella? No more. It's time to understand that you are a man of value, and you don't need to beg for her attention. She either wants to talk to you or she doesn't. And when the communication becomes a chore, it's clear where you stand. I'm not saying that all texts or conversations need to be life-changing or epic, but here's the fact. When you ask her a question and all you get in response is one word, it's not just a red flag. It's a flashing neon sign telling you to move on. Life is short, and you deserve someone who adds energy, not drains it. Remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Instead of wasting your time trying to decode her indifference, be a man of action. Stop chasing the cold, distant responses and start focusing on those who will engage with you fully. Don't settle for a woman who treats your words like an obligation. She either sees your worth or she doesn't, and if she doesn't, you don't need to convince her. You owe it to yourself to never be someone's second choice or their emotional backup plan. Stand strong. Take control. Now take a look around you. There are people in your life, friends, family, colleagues, who are engaging with you because they value your presence. Do not allow someone who can't even spare a moment of their time to diminish your self-worth. If you feel the effort is one-sided, that's your cue. Don't wait for a change that will never come. You've got a life to live, and the right woman will meet you halfway. Let go of the false hope and focus on real, meaningful connections. Act now and share this wisdom, whether here or with others who need to hear it. Like, comment and subscribe to remind yourself that you are not just settling, but choosing the path of strength, clarity and control. And remember this, you're worthy of more than one-word answers. You deserve full, passionate, genuine engagement. Your time and energy are too precious to waste. If you're tired of chasing someone who isn't meeting you halfway, it's time to stop settling. Don't waste another moment on one-word answers. Take action now and declare, "I deserve someone who values my energy." Drop that in the comments below, like this video, and subscribe for more empowering wisdom. Remember, you're not waiting for her to change. You're choosing the path of strength and clarity. Number 3. She constantly flakes on plans. It's a familiar scenario for many of us. You ask her out, she agrees, and you feel the spark of excitement as you anticipate the evening ahead. But then, just as quickly, something else pops up, and your plans are cancelled. At first, it seems like just a fluke. Maybe she genuinely had a work emergency or a last-minute commitment. But when this becomes a pattern, it's clear that something deeper is at play. You find yourself trying to lock down a date, only for her to back out again, with no real explanation. Even worse, there are those moments where you plan something together. The excitement is there, and you both agree to meet. But when the time comes, she vanishes into thin air, leaving you waiting and wondering what happened. It starts with small, seemingly harmless cancellations, but over time they become a steady flow of empty promises and indecisiveness. Eventually, she may even stop responding altogether, leaving you in a state of confusion and doubt, unsure of what went wrong. Here's the thing. We live in a world where time is precious, and it's too short to be spent on someone who doesn't value it. The lesson here is simple, yet powerful. If she keeps flaking on plans, it's a clear indication that she's not invested in you or the relationship. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The modern equivalent of that advice is to stop desiring something that doesn't want you back. Don't waste your energy on someone who can't even commit to a simple dinner or outing with you. If she constantly finds ways to cancel, it's not a reflection of your worth, but rather a reflection of her lack of interest. In today's fast-paced world, where distractions are endless and everyone is pulled in different directions, commitment can sometimes feel like an old-fashioned concept. But remember, true commitment is not about waiting around for someone to change or forcing a relationship to work despite clear signs that it's not. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our actions, our decisions, and how we respond to situations. If someone repeatedly flakes on plans, that's a choice on their part. You can't control their actions, but you can control your response. You have the power to move on, to find someone who values your time and efforts and who doesn't leave you hanging. So let's be real here. If you're dealing with someone who is always cancelling plans and making excuses, it's time to take a step back and ask yourself whether this is a relationship that is worth investing in. You deserve someone who is excited to see you, who follows through on their commitments, and who values your time as much as you value theirs. Don't allow someone's indecisiveness or lack of effort to drain your energy and emotional resources. Modern dating can be overwhelming, but one of the best things you can do is to walk away from relationships that are draining and unfulfilling. By doing so, you create the space to meet someone who will appreciate your time, your effort, and ultimately, you. Take it from the Stoics. It's about recognizing when something isn't serving you and making the rational decision to move forward. Life is too short to settle for anything less than someone who is truly interested and invested. And while it's tempting to make excuses for someone else's behavior or to keep hoping that things will change, the Stoic path teaches us to align our actions with reality. If she constantly flakes, don't fight the obvious. Move on. Find someone who is ready and eager to share their time and energy with you and leave the uncertainty behind. If this resonated with you, take action. Don't let indecision hold you back. If she's constantly flaking, it's time to move on. Comment below with, "I deserve someone who values my time." And let's talk about how to focus on what truly matters. Like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Number 4. You become the substitute person. Have you ever received a last-minute text from her, asking if you're free to hang out when you had other plans or when you were just about to enjoy some time alone? This might happen more than once, and with each instance it becomes clearer. You're not her first choice, but rather the backup, a safety net to fill in whenever things don't go according to her plan. While it might seem harmless at first, it's actually a subtle yet glaring indication that she doesn't truly value you as a priority in her life. In this scenario, you're not being sought out because of the connection or bond you share, but simply because she's feeling lonely, bored, or her original plans fell through. You're merely filling a void, and it's a role you may not even realize you've been cast in until it becomes a consistent pattern. As the Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself," and in this case, mastering your time and energy is essential. The more you let yourself be this substitute, the more you allow yourself to be treated as an option rather than a priority. You deserve someone who sees you as more than a temporary fix when their plans go awry. If you find yourself constantly being put on standby, it might be time to reassess your relationship and whether it's based on mutual respect or simply convenience for her. The issue here isn't just about the momentary disappointment, but the larger message. You aren't seen as valuable enough to be considered in advance. This can be hard to swallow, but true wisdom lies in recognizing your worth and acting accordingly. You're not a last-minute placeholder in anyone's life, so don't settle for being just the backup plan when you know you have the potential to be someone's first choice. Do you find yourself in this situation often? If yes, comment 1, if no, comment 2, and I would love to hear your experience. Number 5. She calls you a friend. When a woman begins to casually refer to you as a friend, the alarm bells should ring. Hear this clearly. When she calls you such a good friend, or even worse, tosses out terms like mate or bro, she has drawn a clear line between friendship and romance, and you're firmly on the side of the former. It stings, doesn't it? But it's the truth. This is not an innocent slip of the tongue or a harmless gesture. It is a signal that she has placed you in a box. As the ancient Stoics taught us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. We often imagine that the connection we feel is mutual, but these terms are the reality that exposes the harsh truth. When she introduces you to others as her friend, it's no longer a minor slip-up. It's a direct reflection of how she sees you. A companion, yes, but one without the deeper, more intimate connection you might have been hoping for. It's critical to confront this fact with strength and dignity. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." In this case, the injury is the emotional sting of being placed in the friend zone, but the power to rise above it lies within your control. You can choose to accept it as the reality it is, and then make the decision to move forward without holding on to false hope. To see things as they truly are, without the illusion of something more, is a lesson in strength, not weakness. Just as the Stoics would encourage, you must let go of what you cannot change and act decisively. This is a moment of clarity. The truth is right in front of you. Don't delude yourself by thinking that if you stick around long enough, things will change. Women are not like men in this respect. When they place someone in the friend category, it's rarely temporary. It's a pattern. It's a dead-end road. The wise man knows to walk away when he sees a road leading nowhere. By continuing to linger in this false hope, you are only wasting time that could be better spent elsewhere. But, and this is important, it's not about anger or resentment. It's about understanding where you stand, acknowledging the reality, and stepping forward with the self-respect that comes from knowing your worth. Do not be afraid to face this reality. The Stoics valued clarity above all else, and in this situation, clarity is your greatest ally. When you're faced with the truth of where you stand in her eyes, embrace it and let it guide your next steps. The emotional pain is a brief moment of discomfort, but the strength you gain by taking control of your life and your emotions will serve you for a lifetime. This is not the end. This is the beginning of you choosing the path that leads to the respect and connection you deserve. So, take this lesson with you. Don't settle. Don't allow yourself to be kept in the friend zone. Recognize it for what it is and reclaim your power. If you've made it this far, you're already on the path to mastering your emotions and making decisions that honor your self-worth. Most men stay trapped in the illusion of hope, but you have the clarity to see things as they truly are. Now, take control. Comment below with, "I choose clarity and self-respect," to show you're ready to move forward with strength and dignity. Number 6. She doesn't want you too close to her. In relationships, physical proximity often reveals more about someone's feelings than words can express. This truth holds especially when it comes to her body language, an honest, silent communication that reveals how she feels about being near you. If she's genuinely interested in you, her body will lean toward yours. She'll close the physical gap, aligning herself in a way that signals comfort and desire for connection. Her face will remain directed toward you, and in moments of closeness, she might even subtly reach out or make eye contact, as if drawn toward you without thinking. On the other hand, if she isn't as invested, you may notice that she keeps her distance, physically retreating when you get too close. In fact, even a small step back could be her way of indicating that she doesn't feel the same attraction or interest. A key sign to pay attention to is how she responds when you unintentionally invade her space. If she pulls away, shifts her body away from you, or even subtly turns her back, it's a clear indication that she's not comfortable with the proximity. But here's the important part. Being aware of this discomfort is a mark of emotional intelligence and respect. You should never ignore these subtle cues, even if you think you might be misreading the situation. In fact, the true measure of your understanding comes from how you respond. If you notice she's feeling uneasy or withdrawing, the best course of action is to give her the space she's signaling for. Space isn't rejection, it's simply her way of ensuring she feels safe and secure in your presence, which is an essential part of any healthy relationship. In today's fast-paced world, many men may interpret these signs as disinterest, when in reality, they are just cues that someone needs their boundaries respected. As a man, It's crucial to understand that women often don't communicate their discomfort openly. Society sometimes discourages women from being forthright about boundaries, leaving body language as their most effective mode of communication. In this sense, the wisdom of the Stoics, who understood the importance of moderation in all things, can be applied. Just as the Stoic philosopher knows when to keep his distance in a heated conversation, so too should you understand when emotional closeness becomes overpowering for someone else. It's about balance and respecting the other person's emotional rhythm, not forcing intimacy when it's not reciprocated. Modern relationships often involve unspoken expectations and pressures, so learning to read and respect these subtle signs can mean the difference between pushing someone away and fostering a healthy, respectful connection. Moreover, remember that this behavior isn't about you as a person. It's about her own boundaries and comfort level. She may just need some time and space to process her feelings. It's a normal part of the dynamic of getting to know someone, and showing patience and understanding at this stage can build a foundation of trust and mutual respect. So, when you notice her keeping her distance, don't take it as a personal affront. Rather, interpret it as a reminder that space allows for emotional safety, something that can pave the way for a deeper connection when the time is right. Number 7. When you're hot, she becomes cold. When you're feeling confident and things seem to be going well, and then suddenly she starts acting distant and aloof, this could be a sign that she's not as into you as you think. Women, despite how confident they may seem, often avoid direct confrontation, especially when it comes to rejecting someone. Instead of outright telling you that she's not interested, she'll likely use subtle tactics to make it clear without causing you too much embarrassment or discomfort. For example, when you compliment her on her appearance, she might brush it off by denying it, and quickly steering the conversation in another direction, almost as if the compliment never even happened. Or, when you drop a flirtatious remark, she might offer a vague response that feels more like an avoidance tactic than a real connection. She could also push off an invitation to grab coffee or do something together by saying she's busy, using phrases like, maybe next time, which in reality translates to, not in this lifetime. In these instances, the message isn't so much about her disliking you personally, but rather that she's trying to let you down gently without directly hurting your feelings. It's often the case that when she's being unclear or non-committal, she's hoping you'll pick up on the subtle hints and take the cue. As the famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you find yourself in a situation like this, it's important to recognize that her indirect behavior is not an invitation to persist, but rather a signal to move on. The wisdom of the Stoics teaches us to accept the reality of situations without clinging to false hope. Waiting around for something that isn't meant to be is a waste of emotional energy and time. Recognize the signals for what they are, and instead of investing further into a one-sided pursuit, focus on cultivating your own life and well-being. The key is to understand that if someone's interest is waning or non-existent, it's better to step back with grace rather than chase after something that's already slipping away. So take a step back, reflect, and remember, your self-worth isn't tied to her response or any one relationship. Let your dignity and maturity guide your actions, and trust that when it's right, it will be effortless. If this message spoke to your heart today, leave a comment about faith. I am a high-value man. Number 8. She never initiates contact. Listen up, because this is something every man between the ages of 35 and 70 must understand. The old world wisdom still stands firm, and one of the most significant truths that echo through the ages is that actions speak louder than words. When she never initiates contact, don't kid yourself into thinking it's a game of playing hard to get. She's not waiting for you to chase her like some romantic knight from the Renaissance. And no, she's not sending carrier pigeons either. This isn't a time where communication takes hours or days to reach its destination. It's instant. So let's be clear. If she's never the one reaching out first, there's a reason. Don't let the fantasy of a woman testing your resolve cloud your judgment. While it's true that sometimes women might withhold contact as a test, these are the rare exceptions, and even then, it's a gamble, one that often isn't worth the mental energy. The reality is far simpler and far harsher. If you are always the one making the first move, it means she doesn't see you as boyfriend material. She might appreciate you, she might enjoy your company, but there's no deep, burning desire to make you part of her life. A woman who is genuinely interested will initiate contact. It's that simple. She'll reach out to you not just when she's bored or in need of validation, but because she's genuinely excited to hear from you and share her life with you. This is not about your game or what you can do to keep her interested. It's about her recognition of your value as a partner in her life. And if you're constantly the one to make the move, you're not seeing that value reflected back at you. This is not about self-pity. This is about taking control. You are a man of experience, and the truth is this: don't chase what's running from you. Know your worth and never settle for being the one always pursuing. As Seneca wisely said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Do not fall into the trap of imagining a future that isn't there. Take a step back and evaluate if this is the relationship dynamic you want. Is it worth your time, your energy, your focus? If she's not stepping up, walk away. There is power in detachment. You're a man who commands respect, and if she can't see that value from the start, then let her go. You will find someone who wants to meet you halfway, who values you, who won't leave you constantly wondering if you're just a convenience. You deserve more than to chase. Remember, your energy is precious. Don't waste it on those who don't recognize your worth. Number 9. She cuts eye contact when she sees you. In the realm of understanding relationships and human dynamics, the ancient wisdom of the Stoics provides us with a timeless lens through which we can examine interactions. When trying to decipher whether a woman is truly interested in you or not, subtle cues can often reveal more than words ever will. Take, for example, the simple yet powerful act of eye contact. In the world of attraction, eye contact serves as a silent language that conveys interest, engagement, and even vulnerability. Women, like most people, are inherently aware of their surroundings and can often sense when someone enters the room, whether consciously or not. It's a primal instinct, deeply ingrained in our social behaviour. For women, this heightened awareness can reveal their feelings in a moment, especially if they are emotionally invested in someone. When a woman likes you, she will often hold eye contact just a moment longer than usual. Her gaze may linger, offering a silent signal of attraction or curiosity, as if her eyes are trying to communicate what her words might not. However, when a woman cuts eye contact upon seeing you, it's often a sign that the interest may not be mutual, and this should not be brushed aside as a mere coincidence. Imagine entering a room, and as soon as she notices you, her gaze shifts away, or she immediately turns her attention to something else. This is not just a simple distraction or a happenstance. In fact, this behaviour can often reflect a deeper emotional reaction, whether it's discomfort, indifference, or a lack of romantic interest. Modern life often teaches us to downplay these small but significant gestures, but in reality, body language and nonverbal communication often tell us more about how someone feels than any conversation could. The Stoics might tell us that our emotions can cloud our judgment, but it's these very subtle clues, eye contact, posture, the distance between us, that offer a clearer picture of how someone truly feels. In today's world, where people tend to rely on digital communication, it's easy to overlook the importance of these physical signals. However, they remain critical in understanding human connection. So when a woman avoids eye contact with you, it could mean a number of things. Perhaps she's simply not interested in you, or maybe she's trying to send a message that she wants to avoid a deeper interaction. This kind of response doesn't necessarily reflect your worth, but rather her own emotional state or situation. In modern relationships, where people can be more reserved or less open with their emotions, understanding these signals becomes essential to navigating the complexities of attraction. The Stoics often spoke of understanding the nature of others, and in the context of relationships, That means recognizing when someone is pulling away rather than trying to force a connection. Eye contact is not just about the present moment, it's also a window into how someone views you. A woman who consistently avoids eye contact may be signaling that she's not open to the connection you're trying to establish. It's important to remember that people communicate through more than just words. And in today's fast-paced world, we often rely too heavily on verbal cues to understand how others feel. But if you pay close attention, the signs are there. Don't ignore them. Take the Stoic approach of acknowledging the signals without becoming attached to them. Recognize the truth of the situation, whether it aligns with your desires or not, and proceed with clarity and composure. If a woman cuts eye contact or avoids your gaze, it's her way of letting you know that the connection you hope for may not be mutual. Instead of chasing after her attention, accept the situation gracefully, with the understanding that not every encounter will lead to the romantic outcome we desire. The wisdom of the Stoics teaches us that true peace comes not from forcing things to happen, but from understanding when it's time to move on. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us, or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Number 10. She just doesn't care about you. When a woman doesn't care about you, it often becomes painfully clear, yet many men mistakenly interpret her lack of interest as some kind of challenge, believing that she's simply testing them. However, the difference between a woman playing hard to get and someone who genuinely doesn't care about you is far more substantial than many realize. It's important to understand that a lack of care is not a game, nor is it something to be puzzled over. It's simply a sign of disinterest that you should recognize and respect. One of the most glaring signs is when she doesn't open up to you, particularly about her personal life. If she's keeping things about herself at arm's length, refuses to share her experiences, thoughts, and feelings, it's an indication that she doesn't see you as someone worthy of her trust or emotional vulnerability. Think of this through the lens of the Old Stoic wisdom. He who is not a good man is not good for the soul. A woman who genuinely cares for you will want to involve you in her world, revealing more about herself as she feels comfortable because she values the connection. If she's emotionally unavailable and uninterested in making that deeper connection, it's likely she doesn't care enough to make the effort. Another key sign is when she doesn't listen to you the way someone who cares would. If she's not asking follow-up questions or showing genuine interest in your life, it's a clear indication that she's not invested. She might only nod or give one-word responses when you share details about your day, your hopes, or even your struggles. Someone who's into you will actively engage with what you say, eager to know more, to connect deeper, and to support you in any way they can. But when she doesn't care, the conversation feels one-sided. You might find yourself talking to a brick wall, or worse, feeling invisible because she's not asking questions, and she's not even picking up on the subtle cues you drop along the way. But perhaps one of the most telling signs of a woman who isn't emotionally invested is when she doesn't turn to you for emotional support. A woman who cares about you and who is genuinely interested in your well-being will seek you out when she's feeling down, stressed, or unhappy. She'll hope you can offer comfort, advice, or simply a listening ear to help lift her spirits. However, if she doesn't like you, she will not turn to you in times of need. Instead, she'll keep her emotional struggles to herself or confide in others who are more emotionally available to her. You might find that when you're concerned for her, asking if everything is all right, she might shut down or dismiss your inquiries. This is a stark contrast to a woman who is emotionally connected with you, who would seek your support, or at least appreciate your care. The absence of this emotional exchange isn't a sign of independence, it's a sign of disinterest. She's not testing you or playing hard to get, she's simply not emotionally invested in you. It's important not to confuse this behavior with the notion that she might be playing games or is simply unsure of her feelings. In most cases, this lack of emotional engagement is a clear and unmistakable sign that she doesn't care about you in the way you want or deserve. As difficult as it may be to accept, It's crucial to see these signs for what they are. The wise Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. It is your responsibility to value your own time and emotional energy. And that means recognizing when it is being wasted on someone who isn't reciprocating your feelings. You deserve someone who invests the same emotional effort and care into the relationship as you do. Don't continue to chase after someone who is emotionally distant because it will only leave you feeling unfulfilled and frustrated. Instead, take this as an opportunity to focus on your own growth and seek out relationships where mutual care and respect thrive. Remember, no matter how much you might want to change someone's mind or think that they'll eventually open up to you, the truth is that you can't force someone to care about you. Your energy is better spent on building a connection with someone who sees your worth and values your presence. So if you've ever found yourself in a relationship or situation where you weren't sure if the other person truly cared about you, ask yourself whether these signs were present. Did she share her life with you? Did she engage in meaningful conversations? Did she seek your emotional support when she needed it? Or did you feel like an afterthought? If you've experienced any of these red flags, don't be afraid to let go. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate you watching. Look, I get it. Realizing that the person you're into doesn't feel the same way can be one of the toughest pills to swallow. It's not just about feeling rejected. It can mess with your sense of self-worth, and that voice in your head starts telling you that you're not good enough. I won't sugarcoat it. It's painful. But here's the reality. Feeling rejected doesn't define who you are, and it doesn't mean you're not worthy of love. It's just a tough moment, and as hard as it is to face, it will pass. What's really important here is this. You can't force someone to like you, no matter how much you want to. You can't change someone's feelings, no matter how kind, patient, or thoughtful you are. I know it can feel like you're supposed to earn their affection, but love isn't something that should be earned through force. It should be natural, mutual, and free-flowing. When you realize that someone's not into you, it's not a reflection of your value as a person, it's just the reality of the situation. And you know what? That truth is a gift. Yeah, it might hurt in the moment, but it's so much better to know the truth and move on. That way, you're not wasting time and energy on someone who doesn't feel the same way. Instead, you can put your time and energy into finding someone who will appreciate you, someone who will love and respect you for exactly who you are. Believe me, that person is out there. You just have to give yourself the time to heal, grow, and get ready for someone who's going to feel the same way about you. So take a deep breath. It's okay to feel hurt, but don't stay in that space for too long. Keep your head up, focus on growing, and remember that you're worthy of real, genuine love. You've got this. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.